Hi, welcome to the video Securing REST APIs with Spring Security OAuth2 Authorization Server and Resource Server with me, Nam Haming at CodeJava.net. In this video, I'd love to guide you how to secure existing REST APIs using Spring Security with OAuth2 Client Credentials, Grant Type, Spring Authorization Server, Spring Resource Server, in-memory client credentials, and you will also learn how to code test for the GET Access Token API and REST API security with Spring Boot Test and Spring Security Test. In addition, you will also learn how to configure Spring Authorization and Resource Server in a single application, in one application, and how to customize access token generation process, how to decode the issued access token in JWT format, how to test REST API security with Postman desktop program. So to learn securing REST APIs with Spring Security OAuth2, I will walk you through the process of developing a Java Spring application, Java Spring project using the following key technologies: Spring Boot version 3.4.0, Spring Framework version 6.2.0, Spring Security 6.4.1, Spring Security OAuth2 Authorization Server 1.4.0 and Resource Server 1.4.0. The software programs I will use in this video including Java Development Kit, OpenJDK, Spring Tools with IDE, SDS. Of course, you can use your favorite IDE. Postman desktop application to test the REST API security. Suppose that we already developed a Java Spring application that provides the following product APIs: get/API/products that will return a list of products, and the second API endpoint is to get a single product, and the next one is to add a new product, and the API endpoint for updating an existing product, and the last API endpoint is to delete an existing product. So you can see the typical common REST APIs for CRUD operations: create, retrieve, update, and delete. Note that for the sake of simplicity, in the sample project, I don't use any database. Instead, an array list is used to store product objects in memory. So you don't see a repository or service layer code, as we focused on implementing security for existing REST APIs. Now let me show you the existing code in a Java Spring project in Spring Tools with IDE. You can see we have a product class. This is an entity class that represents product information, ID, name, and price. And this is a REST controller, a product controller class. You can see the base URI is /API/products, and I used an in-memory array list to store the product objects, and the API implementation for list products here, return a list of products, and for creating adding a new product here, and for updating a product here, update, and for deleting a product here, and for getting a specific product here, get. So you can see this code is very simple, common. It's very common for REST APIs on product information. Now let's test out these product APIs. So let me start this product API application. Okay, the application has started. You can see on port number ATT context path /. Okay, and I used Postman desktop program, and I already created a collection for product APIs test with 2, 4, 5 requests here. The first one is to list all products. You can see the API endpoint here, and by now the product APIs are not secure, so we can click the send button right away. Okay, you can see it returns status 204, no content here, meaning that no products available. Okay, let me test add new product. API. Okay, we must use the post HTTP method API endpoint, and in the body we have a JSON document that represents product information here. Product 1, price 100, click send. Okay, I got the status 201 created, and the response body is new product information. And then I test the list of products API again, and I got the result is an array of product object, and by now we have only one product. So you can see we can test out the APIs without any security. The APIs are publicly accessible by everyone. Now let me add 2 more products. Product number 2, click send. Okay, and product number 3, product 3, 300. Okay, and let me test list products API again, and now I got 3 products, product 1, product 2, and product 3 here. And let me test the get product API with the ID is 1. Click send. You can see I got the information about product 1 and product 2. So you can see the API is not secure. It is accessible by everyone. Now let me test update product. I want to update the product ID 3, product 3, and price is 333. Okay, click send. I got the status 2 hours. Okay, successful. And let me test list products again, and now I got the product 3 updated price here. Okay, so far so good. And the last API is to delete a product. If I type ID 33 here, it returns the status for not found, because we have only 3 products like this. So let me test deleting a product ID 2. So I specify ID 2 in the endpoint here, click send, and I got the status 2 for new content. This is a standard content for successful delete operation. And I test the list products API again, and now I got only 2 products, product 1 and product 3. That means the product 2 has been deleted. Okay, so far so good. That's the product APIs. You can see the APIs are not secure at all, right? And this is a security requirement for product APIs. You see, to access the list products API at this endpoint and with this HTTP GET method, the client must have this scope or authority, read or write. And to use the GET specific product API at this endpoint, the client must have the scope read. And similarly, to use the add product API, update product API, and delete product API, the client must have the scope write or authority write. You see, so this is a security requirement for product APIs. The client must have one of these 2 scopes, read or write, in order to use the product APIs. And to implement such security requirement for product APIs, we need to update the project code. 2 new configuration classes. The first one is authorization server config, to configure Spring authorization server to expose the get access token API. And to test, we can write 2 test methods in the security test class: test get access token fail and test get access token success. And then we will come to configure Spring resource server in the second configuration class, resource server config, to protect the product APIs that are exposed by the product controller class, and to test the API security using Java code. We can code some test methods in the security test class, such as test list product with scope read, test add product with scope read, test add product with scope write. And the roles of an authorization server it authenticates the clients by verifying client ID and client secret or client credentials in the request via the API endpoint /OAuth2/token. This is the standard API endpoint for get access token API as specified by the OAuth2 specification. And the server issues a new access token if the credentials are valid. Note that the access tokens are generated following the JWT authorization web token format, and the server uses a JWT encoder to size the access tokens, and the encoder uses the private key in an RSA key pair to size the JWTs. And by default, Spring Authorization Server will generate an in-memory RSA key pair if no key configuration is found. And the OAuth2 client credentials grant type is commonly used for REST API security. It is machine-to-machine communication. So refresh tokens are not used because this grant type does not require user involvement. And before coding the authorization server config class, let's write test first in the security test class. Test get access token fail. And let's understand the details of the get access token API provided by an authorization server, such as Spring Authorization Server. The API endpoint is /OAuth2/token. The required HTTP method is post, and the required parameters are client underscore ID, client underscore secret, client underscore type must equal to client underscore credentials, as we are using the OAuth2 client credentials grant type. And this is a response body in case of invalid credentials. It is a JSON document that has one field error, and the value is invalid underscore client. Alright, so in the IDE, in the project, right click Spring Add Status here to check dependencies to add Spring Security to the project. I check Spring Security here, or you can expand security in the tree here. Okay, click Next. Okay, it will update the pom.xml file. Okay, click Finish. Okay, now we have Spring Boot Starter Security. It also includes Spring Security Test here. And then we create a new class under the test source directory here. Security Test. Okay, for testing security, we need to use the Spring Boot Test annotation. So it will load the whole Spring application. So it is a kind of integration test rather than unit test. And we use the annotation auto-configure mock MVC. Auto-configure mock MVC in order to use a mock MVC object to send fake HTTP request. Okay, and here I declare a string constant for the get access token API endpoint. Private static final string get access token endpoint, and by default it is /OAuth2/token as specified by the OAuth2 specification. And the first test method, test get access token fail. Test get access token failed. We need to use mock MVC. So mock MVC object, we need to declare an auto-while reference of mock MVC here. Mock MVC. Okay, and to perform a GET request to the GET access token API, we write the code test like this. Mock MVC perform GET with the API endpoint, GET access token endpoint. and we specify 3 parameters as required by the Get Access Token API. We specify 3 parameters like this param. The first one is client underscore ID, because this is a fail case, so we can specify arbitrary values for client ID and client secret. For example, I specify 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the next parameter is for client secret, client underscore secret. Okay, same value. And the last one is for the grant type, grant underscore type is client credentials, client underscore credentials, like this. Okay. And for the assertion, we expect the status is and expect status is unauthorized, because we send invalid client ID and client secret to the server is unauthorized, and do print to bring the details of request and response for testing purpose. Print result handler. Okay, and let me run the test. Run as JUnit test. You see, it is successful. Get access token failed. The server return status is unauthorized, but we also need to expect more as per the details of the Get Access Token API here. The response body must be a JSON document that has the field error and the value is invalid underscore client. So we add another expectation here and expect JSON path. The expression is $, dot and error, and for value we use the isMatcher method here. Value is invalid client, invalid underscore client. Okay, and run the test again. You see the test failed because no value at JSON path $, error, and you can see the details of the request and response here. Request HTTP method get, request URI / OAuth2 token, parameters client ID, client secret, and type, and the response here status for 1 unauthorized, and the headers you can see www authenticate basic. That means the server requires authentication, and the body is empty here. The body is empty. It is not expected because we expect that the body is a JSON document that has the field error with the value invalid underscore client. And next, let's create the authorization server configuration class to enable subring authorization server in a security filter chain like this. Okay, so come back to the project, and we create a new class here, authorization server config. This is a subring configuration class, so we need to use the configuration annotation here. And we enable subring authorization server in the security filter chain bin like this. Use the bin annotation, and the method return the security filter chain. Authorization server security filter chain with parameter is HTTP security object. So when the subring authorization server is enabled, it will expose the Get Access Token API to the clients. Return HTTP dot view. And to enable subring authorization server with default security settings, we can write the code like this: http with OAuth2 Authorization server configurer, authorization server configurer, OAuth2 authorization server. We need to add dependencies to use subring OAuth2 authorization server. So right click, subring, add status. Okay, and we check OAuth2 authorization server here. And we will also need to add subring resource server here. Okay, click next. It will update the pom.xml file. Okay, check finish. And you can see the dependencies for subring OAuth2 authorization server and resource server added here. Then we can use this class OAuth2 authorization server configurer. OAuth2 authorization server configurer here. And the method authorization server with default settings, we use customizer class customizer here with defaults. Okay, so this is a statement to enable subring authorization server with default security settings. Okay, then I run the test again. Test get access token fail. We got an error. Let me check. Error creating bin. No such bin definition. No qualifying bin of type. Let me check the error here. You see, this error means that we also need to declare bin of type register client repository in the authorization server config class. Okay, so for now we just declare another bin of type register client repository. And for now just return now. Okay, and run the test again. Okay, it seems that we also need to configure register client repository. Here we will return two client details, in-memory client credentials. Okay, so let me write the code here. Already the client 1 equal registered client with ID. We use a random ID, generate a random ID from UUID class, UUID random UUID to string, and then we specify some values for the registered client, such as client name, client ID, client secret, client ID, client 1, client secret. For the sake of simplicity, I used raw password, so we need to use the prefix no op here to use raw password instead of encoded password. Password is password 1. Okay, and the next information is client name is John Doe, for example. And at the last we build a client object like this. Okay, and we return an in-memory register client repository. Return new in-memory register client repository, passing value of client 1 here. Okay, for now we just create only one client details with this client ID, client secret, client name, and we also need to specify scope is read scope or authority, and we need to specify the authorization grant type. Authorization grant type is client credentials. You can see there are several authorization run types here. For REST API, we choose client credentials. And the next one is client authentication method here. Client authentication method, we should specify client secret post. That means the client ID and client secret will be sent in the response request body in form of post request. Okay, so here are the details of an in-memory client. Okay, now let me run the test again. You see, we got a different error status expected for 1 but worst for 4. For 4 meaning no static result OAuth2/token found here. Let me check the endpoint /OAuth2/token. Sorry, we must use post here, not get. My mistake. It should be post here. Post, we send HTTP post to the server. Okay, and run again. You see, now the test is successful, and you can see the details of request here. We send invalid client ID, invalid client secret, and the response here. You see the response for one unauthorized content type of the response is application JSON. In the body, it is a JSON document with the field error is invalid client. That is exactly what we expect in this test. Expect that the response body is a JSON document that has the field error and it has the value invalid_client. So that's the code to enable serving authorization server. And know that we must use the post method here to send HTTP post request to the authorization server for the get access token API. And next, let's code the second test case, test get access token success, in which we specify valid client credentials. And note that in case of valid client credentials, the response body should be like this. It is a JSON document that contains three fields: access token, token type, and iSpice in. Token type contains the encoded access token, and token type must be equal to bearer, and iSpice in is expiration time in number of seconds. Okay, come back to the project and we code the second test method here. It is similar to the first one, so we can copy, paste, and modify. Test get access token success, and we expect the status is okay. And we expect the JSON in the response body has the field access_token, and we expect that it is a string, so we use the method is string method like this. And we expect it has the second field with the name is token type, token_type. We expect the field iSpice in is the number, the expiration time in number of seconds. And we expect the field token type has the value bearer. Token_type has the value exactly is bearer. Okay. Run as unit test. You see the test failed status expected to allow but was for a 1 or unauthorized because we specify invalid client credentials, client ID, client secret like this. You can see status for 1 body error invalid client. So to pass the test, I specify correct client ID and client secret. Client ID is client-1 and client secret is password 1. Okay, clan ID here, clan -1, and clan secret is password 1. Okay, and run the test again. You see, the test is now successful. You can see the details of the request here and details of the response here, status to OO, and body is a JSON document. You can see it has the field access underscore token that contains the issue access token in encoded format. It is a JWT, and the next field token type has the value bearer, and the last field expires in is the number of seconds. After that, the issue access token will expire. Okay, so far so good, right? Next, let me show you how to decode the issue access token generated by the Spring Authorization server. So in the output here, copy the access token in the field access token here in the response body, and I use this online tool zwt.io or jot.io, and you can see paste the encoded access token here on the left text box here. Okay, and it is decoded on the right side here. As you can see, header kit is DID algorithm, signature or encryption algorithm. You can hover the mouse over a claim and you can see the explanation, very helpful, right? And payload is the data, that is a set of claims, subject, audience, clan -1, not valid before issuer name. By default, it is the URL of the application, the context, root, expiration time, issue at, and zero DID. Okay, so you can use this online tool to decode the access token issued by Spring Authorization server to examine its content, such as header, payload, claims. Okay, so this tool is very helpful in testing JOT access tokens. And let me show you how to test the get access token API in Postman. So here I add a new request, add request. Okay, name the request as get access token for read access. Okay, the method is post. The URL or API endpoint is localhost 8080/OAuth2 token, and in the body we specify x www from URL encoded and specify three parameters. The first one is clan underscore type equal to clan underscore credentials, and the second parameter is clan ID, clan underscore ID. Here I specify clan 1, and the last one is clan secret. Here I specify password. Okay, click send. I need to start the application. Okay, because testing is Postman is a kind of integration test, so we need to have the application up and running. Okay, click send again, and I got the status for one unauthorized, and the body is a JSON document saying that invalid clan because I specify wrong values of clan ID and clan secret. You see in the authorization server configuration class, we specify a clan with clan -1 and password 1. Let me specify update clan ID and clan secret here to correct value, clan -1 and password 1, and click send. You see now I got status to okay, successful, and response body is the JSON document that has 3 fields: access token containing the issue access token, token type is bearer, and expiration time is about 300 seconds or 5 minutes. It is the default expiration time used by Spring Authorization Server. Now let me copy this access token and decode it. Okay, copy and use the Zod.io website here to decode. Okay, and paste. Okay, it has been decoded. You can see the details, header, payload, claims. You see. And next we come to enable Spring Resource Server by creating a new configuration class resource server config in order to implement security for the product APIs as per this table. And you know the roles of a resource server are it hosts protected resources, verifies access tokens in the request, and authorizes the clients to access the protected resources if the tokens are valid. Note that the server uses a JWT decoder to verify access tokens sent by the clients, and by default, Spring Resource Server will use the public key exposed by the authorization server in order to verify the access tokens. Okay, come back to the project. Let me stop the running application and create a new Java class here. Resource server config. It is also a configuration class, so we need to use the configuration annotation from Spring. And we also declare a second Spring security filter chain to enable Spring Resource Server. So we can copy this one and paste here and then modify. The method name is the bin name, so we need to change the method name to Resource Server Security Filter Chain. Or Resource Server Security Filter Chain. And to enable Resource Server for REST API application, we need to write the code like this. We disable CSRF and session management to setlist first. So we call HTTP CSRF disable, and we set session management. Session management is stateless session creation policy here, and session creation policy stateless because the best practice about REST APIs is stateless needs. Okay, and then we enable the resource server, OAuth2 resource server. Okay, and we use the code like this, OAuth2 for the default setting, OAuth2 JWT, and use the default JWT customizer with defaults. Okay, so this statement will enable Spring Resource Server for the application. Okay, and for the authorization, we require that all requests must be authenticated. So we call the method authorize HTTP request like this, auth any request authenticated. Okay, so this is a basic initial configuration of Spring Resource Server. Okay, now let me start the application to test if this configuration is working or not. And you see we got an error here. You see, it recommends using the security matcher method of the HTTP security method to ensure that there's only one filter chain configured for a new request. Okay, to fix this error, we need to use the security measure method here. Here is the API endpoint starting with API, so we need to call security measure for all URLs starting with /API. Okay, and we do the same for the authorization server config here. HTTP security measure, and the pattern is /OAuth2 *. Okay, and start the application again. Okay, you see it has started without any error. Successful started on port number 8080. So that's the initial configuration for Submarine Resource Server. You see with this kind of code. Next, let's update the Submarine Resource Server configuration class in order to secure the list products API at this endpoint. HTTP method is get and the endpoint is like this /API/products, and the class must have the scope authority name read or write in order to access this API endpoint. And for testing, we code the test method test list product with scope read in the security test class. Okay, come back to the project, and okay, we update the resource server configuration here to authorize clients to access the list product API. Request matches. We specify HTTP method and URL pattern. HTTP method is get. Okay, and the pattern is /API/products. And to specify the required authority name, we use the method has authority or has any authority, because as per the security requirement, we expect that the client must have the read or write authority, so we use this method has any authority and specify more than one authority name here, read or write. Okay, and then we code a test method in the test class here. Test list product with scope read, and we define a string constant for the product API endpoint here. Product API endpoint is /API/products API/products. Okay, and we perform get request mock MVC perform get request get product API endpoint, and do print to see the details of request and response, print result, and expect the status is no content, because we used in memory array list to store product objects in the controller here, so it is empty by default. So we expect the server returns the status is no content, as you can see here, no content. Okay, and let me run the test. Run as JUnit test. You see the test failed. Status expected 204 no content, but was 41. 41 is unauthorized. That means the client doesn't have sufficient permission. You can see the details of the response status 41, and you can see body is empty, header www authenticate bearer. That means the client has been denied because it doesn't have the required scope. So in this test, to specify the scope of the access token, we can use the JWT or JWT request processor provided by Spring Security Test. So we write the code like this. After get here with JWT. Okay, JWT method here. JWT. Sorry, should be like this. Little bit verbose. JWT method and JWT, and then we specify a lambda expression here. JWT claim, and we set scope is read. Okay, so this is a statement to specify the scope of mock JWT that will be sent to the authorization server. Okay, and run the test again. Now you see we got another error. Expected to forward was fault 3. Fault 3 means that the client, you see the error in the response header here, insufficient scope. Okay, to fix the error, we need to update in the has any authority method here. We need to prefix with scope like this, scope underscore read, and then the scope name. Okay, and run the test again. You see, now the test is successful. You can see status 204, no content. So when writing the test like this, you can use the JWT request processor provided by Spring Security Test and specify the scope of the mock JWT that will be sent to the authorization server. And in the resource server config class, you need to prefix the authority names by scope underscore like this. Okay, now let me update the test. I specify the scope right here and run the test again, and it should be successful as well. Okay, you see, successful because we specify that the client must have read or write scope in order to access the list products API. Make sense? Change back to read. Now let's try to test the list product API security with Postman. So I start the application here. Okay, it is up and running, and in Postman here, the list of products request here. And now if I click send, now I got error for one unauthorized because the API is now protected, is secure. It requires the client, you see, it requires the client must be authenticated using a token, bearer token. And run this test to get a new access token with the client ID, client secret like this. Okay, and I got a new access token and copy the newly issued access token by the Spring authorization server, and in this request authorization here, select bearer token and paste the newly issued access token here. Paste. Okay, then click send. Now I got the error for 3 forbidden, meaning that the client doesn't have required permission. Bearer error insufficient scope. The request requires higher privileges than provided the access token. Now let me decode the newly issued access token here to see its content. And you see in the payload it doesn't have scope information because by default the access token generated by the Spring authorization server doesn't have information about the scope of the client. So you will learn how to customize the access token generation in the next few minutes shortly. Next, let me show you how to customize the access token generation process in Spring Authorization Server. To do this, we need to declare a bin of type OAuth2 token customizer here. OAuth2 token customizer. The generic type is generality encoding context. Okay, and the method name token customizer. Here we use a lambda expression to return the new object of type OAuth2 token customizer. Return context. And we need to check if the access token type is access token, then we proceed. Check if OAuth2 token type access token equals the token type of the context get token type. Okay, if it equals, then we proceed in the block if block here. Firstly, we get the register clan object. The register clan object returned by this method here. So we call context get register clan. It returns a new register clan object, just clan. Then we get a builder object context get context builder context get claims. It returns the builder object builder. Okay, from this builder object we can add, update, remove claims in the generated access token in the generated JOT or JWT. For example, I want to set a custom issuer name here. For example, code java.net, and I want to set a longer expiration time. So I use the builder and call the method issue at expires at here. Okay, and I declare constant here for the access token expiration time. Access token expiration in minutes. I use longer value 10 minutes. Okay, so to update the expiration time, we can write the code like this. Instant. We add the instance dot now, and we add the number of minutes plus here access token expiration in minutes, and the time unit is minutes, chrono unit minutes, like this. Okay, you see. Okay, and next I want to add a new claim scope to set the authority information of the issue access token. So I can write the code like this: builder claims. Okay, and from the claims I add a new claim here. Put it is the map, so I put scope, and value is the scope value from the register clan object. So I can get clan get scopes like this. Okay, with builder you can use some standard methods: audience, view, expires, add, id issue, add issue, not before the standard claims. But the scope is not a standard claim, so you need to write the code like this to alter the map, to put a new key is scope, and value is the scope's value of the register clan object. Okay, the application has restarted automatically, and now I can test get access token again here. Click send. Okay, and copy and decode this new access token. copy and decode it here. Okay, now you see in the payload it shows the new claim scope with the value read. It is an array, so you can see the square brackets here, and you can see the name of issuer also updated to code java.net, and expiration time is also updated to 10 minutes, as you can see here, about 600 seconds or 10 minutes. Okay, now I can use this newly accessed token that contains the authority information, scope information, in order to call the list products API again here. So I paste the newly accessed token here. Okay, and click send. Now I got successful status to for no content. The list of products is empty. Okay, you see. So that's how to test security of REST API with JWT. In the authorization section here, specify bearer token and paste the access token you got from the authorization server in this step. Note that the access token must contain information about scope or authority name, like this. Next, let's write code to secure the add product API at this endpoint. Post/API/products, and the class must have the scope or authority name is right. And for testing, we code two test methods: test add product with scope read and test add product with scope right. Okay, come back to the project, and instead of configuring API authorization using the request matches method like this, you can also use some annotations in the handler method in REST controller class. So this is the handler method for the add product API post mapping here. Okay, to do so, we can use the pre-authorized annotation here and specify the expression language here has authority, and scope right, scope underscore right. Okay, and to have this annotation pre-authorized works, we need to enable method security. So we use the annotation enable method security at the top of the controller class here. Okay, so instead of using the method request matches here, we can specify authorization rule right inside the REST controller using the pre-authorized annotation and passing an expression specifying the required scope or authority like this. And we need to enable method security. Okay, and for testing, let me code another test method here. So I copy this one and modify. Okay, test add product with scope read, test add product with scope read, and we need to use the post method to send post HTTP post request and specify the content type of the request is application JSON, application/JSON, and content is JSON string. We need to have a product object here, product equal new product. Okay, specify product information here. I create another constructor that takes only name and price. Okay, this now name and price, calling the below constructor. Okay. Okay, and I specify values for product name and price here. Product 1, price 100. Okay, and to serialize this Java object into JSON, we need to use an object mapper. So we need to have a reference of object mapper here from Jackson library. Object mapper. Okay, object mapper. Sorry, it should be a name of the variable. Object mapper. Right, value as string here. Object is product and it returns the string. Request body, and we pass the request body here. Okay, to send the JSON along with the request body of the HTTP post request, and where we specify the scope is read, and of course we expect that the status is forbidden, and because the client must have the scope right in order to add product. So when the scope is read, the server should return the status forbidden. Okay, and run the test. We got error. Expected for 3 but was 415. Content type application. Object stream is not supported. And let me check. This should be content type. My mistake. Okay, and run again. Okay, you see the test is successful now. You can see the details of the request here. Body is a JSON document that contains the product information, product name and price. And response status for 3 forbidden. And the error here is sufficient scope because the client sends the scope read, but the server requires the API handler requires the scope write. Okay, makes sense. And next, let me code the second test. Test add product with scope write here. Okay, I specify the scope is right here. Change the method name test add product with scope write. Okay, and we expect the status is created. Is created as per the API add product API. It returns the status created in case of successful adding operation. Okay, now run the test. Okay, successful. You can see the details of request here. Response, yeah, 201 created header location /API /products 1. This is a typical response of add API, and you can see the body is a JSON document that represents the newly added product. You can see product ID, name, and price. So that's how to write code to authorize the clients to access the add product API. We can use the pre-authorized annotation like this and write the testing code like this. Next, let me show you how to test the add product API in Postman. So far in this authorization server configuration class, we just return a client with scope read, and now let's update the code to return the second client with scope write. So we can use the client credentials to access to call the add product API. Client -2, password 2, and client name is zone mix. Okay, and here we return client 2. Okay, and start the application. Okay, started. And in Postman, let me duplicate this request to get access token for write access. Write access Okay, post. Okay, body, grant type and grant ID and grant secret. Grant underscore type is grant credentials. Grant underscore credentials. Grant underscore ID is grant -2. Grant secret is password 2 as we specify in the configuration grant -2 and password 2 here. Okay, and click send button to get the access token for the right access permission. Send. Grant type, grant credentials. My mistake. Grant underscore type. Okay, click send. Okay, I got a new access token here. Copy and decode it. Copy to make sure that it has the scope right. Okay, you can see it has been decoded, and in the payload it has the claim scope with value is right here. Okay, then we use this access token to call the add new product API. If I click send now, I got error for OAuth2 unauthorized. So I need to specify authorization is bearer token and paste the newly access token here. Okay, and in the body I specify product 1, price 100. Okay, click send. Now I got the status to uncreated, and the response body is the JSON document that represents the newly added product. Very good, right? And then I can test the list product API. Click send, and I got for one unauthorized because this access token already expired. Now I can paste the newly access token that has the right scope, because as per the security requirement, the list and product API requires the grants have the scope read or write. Okay, click send, and I got the result. Okay, successful. Product 1. Similarly, let me run this second time to add the second product. Successful. You see the second product added. So that's how to test the add product API in Postman with bearer token. Similarly, now you know how to write code to secure the remaining product APIs, such as get a specific product at this endpoint. It requires rich scope, update a product, and delete product require write scope. And in Java code, you can use the pre-authorized annotation for the handler method like this. For update product API here, pre-authorized has authority scope right, and this is the authorization for the delete product API scope right, and for the get product API scope read. And testing with Postman is similar, as you have seen. I test the list products API and add new product API. Wow, it's a great, amazing REST API security tutorial, isn't it? So far you have learned how to secure REST APIs with Spring Security, OAuth2 Authorization Server, and Resource Server. I hope you found this video a great reference. Please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share this video. Thanks for watching.